aboard the LX7 Turboprop, and this morning we will be doing a demo flight in the turboprop for you, showing you the majority of what we would show on a demo flight if you were actually to come to Redmond, Oregon, here to our facility and see the airplane in action. So we'll run through the checklist kind of quickly. We won't stop and really talk about all the features of the airplane necessarily, but certainly if you have any questions, you can leave those in the comments below, or you can give us a call or send us an email, and we're happy to help you out with those. So we do have our door closed, shut. We're going to arm our BRS parachute system now, so we pull the overhead panel off. The instructions on how to use that are there in case the pilot is incapacitated. So we'll stow that and then pull the pin out, so the BRS is now ready to go. Seats and seat belts are in place and latched, and our gear handle is down. We have our power on, and we're just going to start on the right hand side of the panel, verify our bleed air is off, our emergency gear control is pushed in. We're not using our park and brake this morning. I've got the brakes with my feet. Defrost, cabin temp, seat heaters, and all these electrical switches are off. We come across and we have our strobe lights on, and then both batteries are on. And now we'll do a little quick check of the fuel system. So we'll select the engine page on the MFD, and we go left pump, and we get a fuel pressure indication here. And we go back to auto, and pressure will drop. Then I'm going to pull the firewall shutoff valve here, and with that fuel firewall shutoff valve closed, I select the right pump. I get the manual fuel indication here, but no fuel pressure. That shows me that that valve is closed, and then I push that control forward to open that valve, and now we can see we get pressure from the right pump. So we've shown that we have all the valves open. Both the pumps are working, and we're good to go there. All the engine controls are back. More lever is stowed, and we'll check our cabin pressure system. Set to field elevation. All right, and we've done our fuel system check. And the propeller is clear. And we will then hold down the engine start switch till we get 10%. Igniters will come on with my thumb here, and then we get the 19. We'll count down from 5 and introduce fuel. So here we go. There's the starter, there's 10%, and there is 19. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oil pressure looks good. Here comes the fuel. There we see a fuel pressure, and we see fuel flow. 2, 3. We've got a light, and we're a good start in progress here. Our max ITT of 699. Okay, igniters are off. I'm gonna bring the NG up just a little bit here and then start the generator going. And generator on. Now we see a voltage rise on bus 1. Cross tie picks up bus 2. So we open the cross tie back up, and then alternator. And we see bus 2 come alive. The gate going here.
Redmond 5005. Temperature 19er, 2.2, altimeter 3001. IFR arrivals, expect RNAV approach, runways 5 and 11 in use. Call for early, Seattle and San Francisco.
Alright, we've begun to roll, brakes check good.
Low flight service frequencies, advise on initial contact, you have Quebec. Redmond Tower information, Quebec, 14560. Wind, variable at 5, weather Redmond 5005. Temperature 19er, 2.2, altimeter 3001. IFR arrivals, expect RNAV approach, runways 5 and 11 in use. Call for early, Seattle and San Francisco. Passengers weather information for Oregon is available flight service frequencies.
Okay, we have information Quebec. Basically on the demo flight, we will proceed to the north, where we can do some maneuvering, demonstrate some slow flight and a fully configured stall. Then we'll do a coupled RNAV approach to runway 16 in Madras. And And following that, we will return to Redmond for a normal landing. So we're just holding a position here momentarily while we're waiting for our gate to close. I'm going to go ahead and feather the propeller. By feathering the propeller, I now know that I have the ability to cut off oil supply to the hub of the propeller, which will enable it to feather. So I have control over the prop in that direction. And as we taxi and I go into beta, I know I can add additional oil pressure to move those blades into the low, past the low pitch stop into the beta range. So I can demonstrate to myself that I have control over that propeller in both directions, which is nice to know and important to know. They're waiting for our gate to go here. Alright, we'll just do some of our before takeoff check. Alright, the gate is closed. Prop's coming back forward. We'll taxi forward just a little bit to do some of these checks. Get away from our fence. So there's the beta range. We can see the RPM of the propeller pickup, and the thrust speed is reduced. Now I'm using wheel brakes just to bring us to a stop. And we'll go ahead and do a little bit of a run up here. So we're gentle on the power lever as the RPM comes up. Okay, so the prop is cycling normally. Get our flaps set to take off, which they are. Get our trim set. Trim set match our flap indication, and then we'll run our rudder trim over to the right. We can see our fuel level is fairly even. It's showing within 1 gallon here. And we'll just watch that throughout the flight. The fuel system, which is in auto now, should maintain that in pretty even condition throughout the flight. Okay, we've got our pre-takeoff check done. We'll go get our bleed air going. One last check, verify we're fuel elevation, which we are. And then we'll just get address plugged in here to our flight plan. Good morning. 72 Lima X-ray South Hangars information. Back on. 11 via Bravo, Windsor 72 Lima X-ray. And as we taxi, we'll get our nav lights showing here. The nav lights also activate the taxi light. Anytime the gear is down and the nav light switch is on, the taxi lights will be on. So again, improved directional control with the LX7 was important to us. So I'm just using rudder here primarily. I will tap the brake every now and then, but the rudder works great even at these slower air speeds on the ground. Alright, here's runway 11, we'll call the tower. Good morning, tower. 72 Lima X-ray, holding short 11 north departure.
72 Lima X-ray, Redmond Tower, left turn approved, runway 11, clear for takeoff.
Okay, our lights are showing, our igniters are on, flaps are set.
1-1 clear for takeoff with the left turn, 7-2 max rate.
And we'll pre-select 8,000 feet here for our maneuvering altitude. And get a little air conditioning going as well. So the way we operate the airplane, we get lined up in position on the runway. Verify configuration one last time here. So we got our flaps, our trim. And now we're going to go 300 foot-pounds of torque while holding the brakes. And then we're going to release the brakes, verify directional control with the rudder, and just start bringing in more power. Looking for 900 foot-pounds for our takeoff power. And there's our 65, we rotate, up we go. Positive rate of climb. Gears coming up. And through 100 knots, flaps are coming up. Clear to the left. Just gonna maintain this airspeed for us here for a second. In the turn, we can really get this thing to climb. With a pretty high nose-up attitude, if we want to, and that's not quite full power there yet.
Answer 72 Lima X-ray, frequency change approved. Have a good flight.
7-2 Lima X-ray, talk to you later.
So that was the max performance climb. Now we'll do is do more of a normal climb. Power back in there. But we can also do a relatively high indicated airspeed climb there, 7,000. Headed for 8,000, a solid 1,700 feet per minute, and then accelerating.
Leading in 3 for JV North Traffic.
There's 2,000. That indicated rate of climb will just continue to rise as we pick up momentum here. And there's our 8,000. So we're just going to bring our nose down to the horizon. Power back a little bit. We don't want to get cruising too fast here. I'll make a couple of turns. We're looking for traffic here as well. The aircraft has 2 traffic systems on board. And active traffic system here in the GTN. So it'll interrogate other transponders nearby. And then this is the ADSB traffic displayed on the T3X touch screen. A couple of clearing turns here. Now we can notice above 160 knots indicated I cannot put the flaps down, and that's intentional, just as a flap over speed protection. Okay, we look pretty clear for traffic. I will go ahead and now we're below 160, you can see the indicator on the flap, position indicator, turn blue. It's a fairly stable airplane, quite easy to hand fly. And all we'll do here is we'll just slow the airplane down and demonstrate slow flight. So we have the approach flaps in there. Let's go ahead and bring power back. Let the airplane decelerate a little bit here. Again, we look good for traffic, both visually and on all the screens. So slowing through 125 here. Takes a relatively small amount of power, 230 foot-pounds of torque is what's showing now on the display. And we'll just let the airplane continue to slow down. Get a little bit more to the north here. Nice stable flight. We're still decelerating just a little bit. But even here at 100 knots, we've got great aileron responsiveness. And, you know, the airplane feels like it's totally controllable, maneuverable.
Continue 445 Charlie Romeo, Redmond Tower. Were you planning runway 11 or 5?
5 Charlie Romeo, we can take either one. 11 regularly.
Okay, 5 Charlie Romeo, Roger.
Alright, so we'll go ahead and put some more flaps down there. And we'll configure the airplane for landing.
Thank you.
Alright, we've got 3 green. And
Passengers further information for convective Sigma 54 Whiskey for thunderstorms with about 1 flight service frequencies.
so now you can see we're flying along 80 knots, 83 knots. And again, the airplane's very configurable at just a tiny bit of power here, just to maintain level flight. So we can actually fly around in the 80s. Quite comfortably. So if we're in the pattern and we need to maneuver around a little bit, not an issue. And now we'll just demonstrate a power off stall. So there's the envelope protection has just come alive, and it's now pitching the nose down. I've turned it off. Wanted you to see that envelope protection, how that works, and it will come on and protect us at the low end of the envelope, warning us of stall speed coming up. All right, we're coming down through 69.
Information Romeo South Turn altimeter 3002.
Power's off. Stall warning is coming on. 64 this morning. There's 58. Just so the stall happened at 74.50. I'm just going to add a little bit of power here to arrest our descent. And again, like our takeoff, we just stopped the rate of descent. We only need a little bit of power, and we're back to that minimum maximum controllable airspeed condition, and we lost about, what, 200 feet of altitude there. So very controllable, very gentle. And then we just add power, keep the nose level, let the airplane speed up. We'll bring our flaps up a little bit at a time. 2, 3. And retrim. Now we have a positive rate of climb. Here coming back up. And we're through 100 knots, so we can bring our flaps up. So just like the initial takeoff, quite easy to do. So now let's head to the north here. Looking for traffic out the window, don't see any. I'm gonna get this set right to north. Go ahead and get the autopilot going here. And we'll go up a little bit. 8,000. And then we'll get the approach loaded here. We're going to do the RNAV 16. And we're going to head over to Supuk intersection. Just load and activate that. Go direct. From here. That nav. We're at 8,000. Now we can add power as needed here. And the Garmin system is very helpful. So we can pull up frequencies here.
Density altitude 3,600.
Notice airmen, please caution skydiving activities from 13,000 feet below.
And we can see our indicated airspeed has climbed up, so we'll just bring our power back just a little bit. So in the terminal area,
Madras Municipal Airport.
the airplane's nice and fast, and can accelerate and decelerate quickly.
Visibility 10. Clear below 12,000. Temperature 21 Celsius. Dew point 6. Altimeter 3002. Mark. Density altitude 3,600.
Again, tied together with the G5 backup instrument,
Skydiving activities from 1.
so we can see those two instruments working together. Now we have a little bit of time just to sit back and enjoy the ride here. So we're powered back fairly substantially. Let's go ahead and just bring our propeller lever back as well. Airplane is nice and quiet. Very comfortable to ride in. And we'll go ahead and pre-select our 7,000 feet here. And we'll cross Supuk at 7,000. So we'll just start down slowly. We've got 11 miles to go. Alright, we're briefing our approach. We're going to the RNAV, GPS RNAV 16. That is Madras, Oregon. So we're going to the right place. We've gotten our 1 minute weather. 3002 was our altimeter setting. We go ahead and set our minimums here. LPV, and that'll be 2,800 feet. see as we cross height down there, turning final 5,500 and a final heading our course of 164. So wind isn't too strong today. It's coming. Looks like it's coming out of the southeast at this altitude of 16. So we'll expect a little bit of a left crosswind. And then our missed approach will be a straight ahead climb 7,000 to the Hookery intersection. Then we'll be tracking 074 out of there to Joram, and that's where we're going to break it off somewhere on that lake after we show the mist. We won't fly the full mist here. Alright, so the airplane's turning early. We'll go ahead and select our 5,500, which is our next altitude. And we'll get our vertical speed coming down. And this is what's great about the turboprop. We can see our airspeed coming down as well as our altitude is rolling down as well. We've basically got that done. We'll get our pre-landing check done. Power's needed, cabin pressure set to field elevation. We'll leave it at 3,000 for this demonstration here. Airspeed is down below that, 220, and we're 6,000 for 5,500, showing 4 miles. So airspeed 160. Our condition lever back to the idle setting, and propeller pull forward, and we'll get our first notch of flaps out there. And our igniters are on. Alright, so we've briefed. RNAV 16, 164 is final. We've got our minimum set in. Next altitude is 4,600.
Matters traffic 2 Lima X-ray 10 north of the airport, maneuvering on the RNAV 16 Matters, and will just be a low approach, missed approach to the south.
165. Okay, we're now turning final, headed to the Tuip intersection, 3 miles out, and 5,100 for 4,600. Airspeed's coming down. Our pre-landing check is complete. And 4,900, 4,600. After Tuip will be Kixie, and that'll be our final approach fix. Okay, the autopilot's leveling us off here. We're just now passing Tuip. And our next altitude is 4,000.
Matters traffic 2 Lima X-ray 8 miles north of the airport on the RNAV 16.
there's two. Go vertical speed on down. Glide path is alive. $4,200 for 4,000.
Managed traffic plan. 2 and make sure 5 miles north. RNAV 16 will be this approach to the south.
Alright, there's 3/10 of a mile to Kixie. Glide path's nearly centered. Glide path has captured. And then we'll get our missed approach to altitude set in here.
Managed traffic. 2 Lima X-ray, 4 miles now north of the airport, straight in. RNAV 16 with the missed approach to the south, Matters.
Alright, one last check, gears down, lights are showing, igniters are on. Speed's a little fast, correcting. And 3,500 for 2,800 barrel minimums will alert us. 3,400 for 2,800.
Managed traffic, 2 Lima X-ray, 2 mile final.
When we hit our minimums, if we don't have the landing assured, we will just hit the go round button. There's 3,000 for 2,800.
Managed traffic, 2 Lima X-ray, 1 mile final now, 16.
Okay, there's our minimums. Go round. Just going to bring our power back up to that same 900 foot-pounds we had for takeoff earlier. Up. And positive rate of climb, gears coming up. And we're over 100 knots indicated, so we can bring our flaps up. And we can increase our power as needed here.
Managed traffic, 2 Lima X-rays, going around to the south through 3,700.
And we'll let the autopilot fly us out to the Hookery intersection. So far the autopilot stayed on the entire time. And we can see here it will draw the missed approach procedure for us, as well as the hold. It'll actually fly that for us as well. Alright, so we're straight ahead to 7,000 to the Hookery intersection. We're through 5,500 now. And showing 3.8 miles. $6,000 per 7,000. And it's saying left turn 075, so we'll get that dialed in here on our heading. start dialing back. We hit the intersection and our altitudes. Same time. So the autopilot's turning us left. And it would proceed to fly the entire mist.
Matters traffic 2 lane X-ray cleared to the southeast.
Alright, so now we can return to Redmond, just do a normal landing. Let the autopilot fly us over to Redmond. Our course is 177. So again, using the waypoint feature, which we can also access through the flight plan, and we can pull up waypoint information, get our frequencies, ATIS, we'll put it into COM 2, and then tower we'll also just put over into COM 2.
One in use. Call for release, Seattle and San Francisco. Hazardous weather information for Oregon is available on flight service frequencies. Advise on initial contact. You have Romeo. Redmond Tower information Romeo, 1556 Zulu. Wind calm, weather better than 5,005. Temperature 20, 2.3. Altimeter 3002. IFR rivals expect RNAV approach, runways 5 and 11 in use. Call for release, Seattle and San Francisco. Hazardous weather information for Oregon is available on flight service frequencies. Advise on initial contact. You have Romeo.
Okay, we have Romeo. And we can expect 1-1 here. I'll just select a heading that's going to get us pretty well set up for a base for 1-1.
That's 2 of them. Upstate, clear close to the octave one.
Tower 72 Lima X-ray 15 north, Romeo inbound for landing.
72 Lima X-ray Redmond Tower, in and report left base runway 11.
And report a left base 11, 2 Lima X-ray.
So the entire time we've been flying along, we've had a pretty consistent cabin altitude of just over 3,000 feet. And we've had a nice temperature control with the climate control system. So it's been a very comfortable cabin to ride in. And as we were talking about before we took off, we can see the fuel level is still quite even there. We're still right at that 1 gallon mark. And then this is great, shows us weather, shows us extended center lines. And now if we put in a 4,000 foot altitude pre-select for our pattern entry, go ahead and start down. System's also given us vertical navigation. But we'll then get this arc, which will show us where we're at our current rate of change. We're going to reach that 4,000. And we're just clearing over the top of some hills here, and then we'll begin descending a little more earnestly.
Redmond Tower is 2342 and I'm Yankee 5.
Resident 2342, Redmond Tower, good morning, report, KP.
That's 2342.
And again, we can go down and slow down. The piston LX7, we have speed brakes, which will also enable us to do the same thing. Alright, pre-landing check. Here's airspeed. Looking for below 160 and it's decaying. Ignition levers to idle. Prop controls forward, fuel's on auto. Ignition is on. And we've got our speeds for the pattern 190, 80. Running on a base, so we'll aim for 90 here. Alright, speed below 160, first notch of flaps.
Runway 5, clear to land. 2 X-ray sight distance.
4 miles for 2 X-ray.
2 X-ray, roger. Number 2, traffic is dash 8, about a 4-mile final in runway 5.
Alright, number 2, we'll expect that 2 X-ray.
Number 3, Whiskey Tango, turn left at Charlie 3.
Alright, we can fully configure here. We are now 3.5 miles out on the left base. Keep our descent coming down, but now we can slow down, which is really great for spacing in the pattern. We have options. Alright, base 3 green. Niders are on. Prop is forward. Seatbelts are good.
November 95, Whiskey Tango, Rebel ground taxi on Charlie, hold short of runway 5.
And I can visually see our traffic and that it's not going to work out for us to turn final here.
2 X-ray, 2 mile final traffic inside.
2 X-ray, roger, runway 1 clear to land. If you like, you can just roll into downwind for 5.
Okay, yeah, we'll do that behind the dash 8.
2 X-ray, runway 5, clear to land, cross quick turbulence, follow the dash 8.
Number 2 to land, runway 5 behind the dash 8, 2 X-ray.
That'll work out a lot better. And again, because we know we have great confidence in our slow speed handling and performance, this kind of maneuvering is not a big deal. We're now beam our traffic. See him showing up here. There he goes by on the screen. Alright, we still have 3 green down.
Rabbit Tower at 73707 is about 0.7 a mile outside the Z-bid on the GPS, Yankee runway 5.
November 3, Whiskey Tango, cross runway 5 at Charlie without delay, taxi leading edge. So 73707, Rabbit Tower, report kickbeat.
Report kickbeat, 73707.
Roger, 2342, turn left November, contact no ground point.
And brakes are also good.
Yeah, 2342.
Oh, final looks clear.
Roger, 2342, Rebel ground taxi to the terminal via Foxtrot Hotel, cross runway 29.
Alright, there's the runway, power's at idle. Touchdown is about 62. We can add drag just by putting.
X-ray, turn left at Bravo. Give way to the dash 8, taxi across and get Bravo, monitor you out.
Okay, left turn Bravo, give way to the dash 8 to the max rate. Bravo.
So we just want to bring the power lever just after the gate. We put the prop in a high drag condition. For traffic. All right, flaps are up after landing check. Flaps are up, lights are off. Bleed air, come on. Ignition off. Control lever as needed. Stand by on the transponder. Looks like it's at ground. Trim is reset for takeoff. Back on the ground at 920. And we can see the fuel system has kept the fuel level nice and even for us. We didn't do anything other than monitor that the entire flight.
Airtag 2 Alpha River ground, good morning, runway 11, taxi via Delta Charlie.
And again, taxi speed can be modulated by our thrust. So we just bring the power lever back a little bit, we reduce thrust. And that keeps us from riding the brakes. And we just need the brakes for the occasional directional control change if we don't have enough authority with the rudder. Okay, and that's the end of our demo. So I'd like to thank you for flying along with us today. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to give us a call, send us an email, or leave a comment below. Thank you.